How's it going? Welcome to episode 6 of Scratch Social with me, Paddy.
And me, Eimear.
Merry Christmas, Eimear. This is going out Christmas Eve. We're very prepared this week, organised.
We sure are. Another good week in the bag. Episode 6. Gosh, it's flying.
Episode 6. Gosh, it's flying. Are you all set for Christmas? What's the beloved getting?
Oh, surprise. I'm hoping he'll listen to this podcast tomorrow and then he won't know. So, yeah, something
Is it a big
golf-related.
box or a small box? Is it a big box or a small box?
A big box. What are the girls getting off Santa Claus?
Santa, well, I'm immediately going to bring a Barbie dream house. So we were with friends last weekend and I asked, is Santa better off constructing this so that the child can just walk in and see it, or is Santa better off just leaving it in the box? I was told Santa better make that. Took Santa 2 hours for another person's child, just in case little kids are listening to this. I think Santa set a new record putting this together. Santa sent me a message. It took him like 40 minutes to put a Barbie dream house together. So, folks, if Santa's listening in other houses, at Scratch Social HQ on all social media platforms, how long did Santa take to make Barbie dream house in your house? So there we go. There's that. There's a load of demon hunter stuff. There's what else on the list? The 2-year-old is looking for a boga. She's from Kildare. A boga shop, a burger shop. Loves independent play, so loves making cakes in her little kitchen and stuff like that. And no golf stuff. We have golf clubs already, so like, no, we don't need any golf. So I have my golf clubs, so they're all covered there. So yeah, looking forward to a couple of days of watching Kevin, which is my girls talk for Home Alone 1 and 2. Watching Kevin movies for a couple of days is the plan.
I think I need a few of those demon hunters after the multiple Christmas parties I have had. So I'm really looking forward to just relaxing for the next couple of days. And look, it's a really nice time of year. Everybody obviously sets new goals. And just looking forward to wrapping up the podcast. This is not our last episode of 2025. We were going to have one more episode coming out next week to ring in the new year. And we're also going to talk about some key events coming to Ireland. Ireland has a very, very packed calendar of golf next year. So we're really excited to go through the key dates.
Keep it for next week, Eimear. Don't be telling them what's happening. They have to tune in to see what's happening. Tune in. So news this week. A fella that I enjoyed watching his swing because he's just an absolute savage hitting the ball. Mito Pereira retired. He played Corn Ferry for a couple of years. He won 3 times, which got him his PGA Tour card. I think he was everybody's radar when he missed out the US Open in Southern Hills in 2022. So he was standing on the 18th tee with the lead and proceeded to double bogey, I think, at the end. So actually missed out in the playoffs. So Will Zalatoris and Justin Thomas went on, and Justin Thomas hit the shot of his life, tee shot, and won the playoff. Mito's been playing with Torque GC, so that's kind of the South American team on Live Golf the past couple of years. And I was interested, there was a one-pager went up on social media the last couple of days, and he's only 30 years old. And he announced earlier this week of his retirement from golf. And the reason being his desire to step away from constant travel was the first point, return to Chile and focus on his personal life. And to be honest, I'm surprised there isn't a lot more professional golfers like retiring because of that constant traveling. It's something that I always bring up with people. I think Lauren last week, she's been to 22 countries this year. So it's an incredible strain on their lives,
It is, and it's something that we only see the glamour of it. Like, we see the events, we see the nice golf courses, we see the prize money, the clothes, the clubs. But, I work in events, and you've obviously been involved in a lot of events, and it is a slog for those players. So I'm actually not surprised, and he's probably going to pave the way for a few others, knowing that it's okay to retire early if he's made his money and, he's happy where he's at and he has other plans for his future. Fair play to him.
Fair play to him. I think the live money helped. That might be one of the core reasons. That might be one of the core reasons he went to Live, was on the promise of less travel. And then actually after a couple of years, they're almost playing the same amount of events. And now they're back up to 72 holes. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Use some news, though. Use some news. You're going to steal the show now.
I do. A couple of 1,000 miles from Chile. We're bringing it back to Ireland. Áine Donegan has secured her 2026 LET Tour card, and we are just so delighted for her. It was a really tough couple of days at Q School in Morocco, and she finished in top 10. She shot a round of 70 on the Saturday, and under that pressure and those circumstances, she absolutely nailed it. She pulled it out of the bag. And I know Anya, you know Anya. She's an amazing person, an amazing player, and I think she's going to be another really great ambassador for Irish golf. She's played in 2 US Women's Opens, in the KPMG Women's Irish Open, and we're just so excited to support her and follow along on tour next year.
Absolutely. Like, she's definitely one to watch in women's golf, is Áine Donegan. She only turned pro, I think, 6, by the time this podcast goes out, maybe 7 weeks ago. As you said, she's no stranger to the big things. She's played in 2 US Opens. I think the whole country was watching in 2023 when she led in the early rounds of the US Open in, where's that on? That was in Pebble Beach. Yeah, it was on in Pebble Beach. She's from Ennis in County Clare, so up the banner. I know Anya, a few years, fellow member of Lynch. I think she's a member of Dromoland as well. As you said, she's played in a couple of women's Irish Opens, but yeah, she's incredible to handle that pressure at the first goal at Q School. Q School is notoriously difficult to get through. She led the qualifying event the week before. She won that to get into final qualifying, and now with the Ladies European Giro card, I think she said immediately during the week, it's good to have, be able to plan and structure for next year by having a card. So yeah, pro career officially taken off, so couldn't be more proud of her. You never know, she might end up at the PNC Championship after a 20-year pro career. But the scoop on that is I love watching the PNC Championship, especially since having my own kids. Like in Tralee, they do a parent and child event at the end of the junior golf season. So I've missed it due to work or travel the last couple of years. So I'm looking forward to playing it myself. In 2026 might be one of the goals I mentioned next week. But the PNC Championship is been going around since 1995. It started as a father-son. It started just for major champions and their children, but it's been expanded over the years to include Players' Championship winners, senior and LPGA major champions. So it's 54 holes, 3-day event, and it's a 2-person team best ball format. Paddy Harrington teams up with his son. I think his sons do a little playoff in Stackstown, I think, and whichever son wins plays with Padraig. But they had some great moments. The clutch birdie chip that got the crowd buzzing. But other fun pairings, to give you an idea, is Nelly Corda played with her dad Peter. Annika Starnson plays alongside her son Will McGee. I think he's like 12 or 13 years of age. So it's not just about the pros. It's about family. It's about fun. It's a week or 2 before Christmas. Matt Kuchar and his son Cameron won this year. They ran away with it. It's kind of close. I think they won by like 6 or 7 shots. But it was a bit, you could really see it was quite emotional for the Kuchars because Matt lost his own dad, Peter, earlier this year. So it's a very feel-good tournament, especially this time of year. So yeah, I always try and tune into that.
Definitely. I love that tournament, and I'm so invested in Annika Sorenstam and Will McGee. I feel like I've watched them for the last 2 or 3 years, and Will is growing up and he's getting better at golf. Yeah, it's amazing. And also the Kuchars as well. And Bernard Langer and his son, they're a really, really good pairing as well. So if anybody's looking for the highlights, they're on YouTube. It's a really, really good watch, and it's a soft watch. It's nice and enjoyable, and highly recommend the PNC.
Absolutely. So Scratch Social Clubhouse notice board. If people have a funner name for that, let us know. But we had our first email into podcast@scratchsocialhq.com. We are at Scratch Social HQ on all social media platforms, as well as, I discovered the other day, there's like a community section in YouTube. So if people are on YouTube on their phones or devices or even on your TV, there's a tab over for community. You can ask your questions there, or just talk amongst yourselves. We look forward to monitoring that. But our first email came in from Ruth Gill. Hi, Paddy and Eimear. I was hoping you could possibly do an episode or maybe some segments for beginners. So delighted. Like we said, we talked about this on our first episode as to what we were hoping we could do with the podcast. So Ruth says, I only started 6 months ago and have multiple questions. Here we go. How do I get a handicap? Once I have one, is it based on an honour system to update it? If I book a tee time for myself, but other people have booked that, do I have to play with them? So a very, being comfortable on the golf course and being comfortable with who you're playing with is why I only play with certain people as well after 28 years of the game. As a gym goer, Ruth says, is there any specific exercises or stretches we recommend? So Ruth is all in. Ruth is like looking at this from all angles. I'm sure I will think of more. Looking forward to the second email, Ruth. But that's all I can think of for now. Thanks and loving the pod so far, Ruth. That's an email.
That is an email. Ruth, we are so delighted and we're happy to help, and hopefully this will help others as well. Or if you have a partner, a friend, a family member, whoever it is looking to take up the game, please take note because these questions are absolutely brilliant. So, Ruth's first question is, how do I get a handicap? And there's two ways of doing it. And the first way of doing it is if you are a member of Golf Ireland, you need to join a golf club. So, to get a Golf Ireland handicap index, you first need to be a member of a club that's affiliated to Golf Ireland. This gives you an official membership and access to the handicap system, i.e., the Golf Ireland app. Once you're a member of a club, you create your My Golf account and you link it to your membership. You may then use, as I mentioned, the Golf Ireland app. It's really, really good. It's really easy to use. Now, in order to get your actual handicap, you need to submit qualifying scores. So you need to post a total of 54 holes of acceptable golf. So, for example, it could be 3 18-hole, it could be 6 rounds of 9. And these must be played under what we call qualifying conditions and signed by a marker with a valid handicap. So, Paddy, if I was looking to submit my first 3 scorecards to get my handicap, you're a Golf Ireland member, you're a club member, I would get you to play with me, sign my card, approve all my scores, and then your handicap index is generated under the world handicap system, so the global handicap system.
That's it. And you can basically continue to submit qualified scores with a marker, so that when you're playing with someone that they have a handicap as well. And if you're not a golf club member is the second one, and that's iGolf. Well, one method is with iGolf. So Golf Ireland now offers iGolf. It was launched, was it 2 years ago? Or was it last year? I can't remember.
I think it's 2 years.
It's common enough. England golf started it, and then the Scottish and Welsh got on that train as well. So if you don't have an official handicap index under WHS without club membership, it's often marketed as being for independent golfers, hence iGolf. There's an annual subscription which covers your administration with Golf Ireland. I think it's €65 or give or take a quid, and £55 in Northern Ireland. You can sign up online at the Golf Ireland website. So we'll put that in the show notes below. To submit scores to build a handicap, it's just like club membership, just like Eimear laid out there, that you must submit acceptable scores for rated courses, generally 54 holes or 9-hole rounds there, 6 of them, to establish a handicap index. Maintaining and use your handicap, I think we could all get a refresher on this, given some of the scores in some scrambles these days. But after establishing your handicap index through iGolf, you can submit your scores via the Golf Ireland app. So it's one source of truth for everything handicap and golf with the Golf Ireland app. And your handicap will update as per the WHS rules. The other way, and this is actually where I got my first handicap, was with the Golf Society. So generally they're run through a pub in town, or I don't know, through the parish hall or through Facebook groups. So whatever town you're in, Ruth, maybe Facebook search or Google search, Eadestown Golf Society or whatever. She's not from Eadestown, it's just a parish near me. So Society Handicap is more about casual leagues, and this is the non-affiliated groups to Golf Ireland. So it can be used informally within that society. So it's not an official Golf Ireland handicap, but it's like a social handicap you can use. Societies would have anywhere between 6 to 10, maybe even 12 outings a year. And that's your handicap to use within that golf society as you travel around the local courses around your community. So if you want an official handicap for open competitions or club events, you need a Golf Ireland handicap index. And if you just want casually, get a society one.
And speaking of societies, I'm a member of the Killaloo and Ballina Golf Society, and oh my God, the crack that we have on that society. And for the first couple of years, I was actually the only woman on it, and now there's another lady who's joined it. So Ruth, if you are looking to maybe meet a couple of other beginners, like if you haven't done the Get Into Golf course, look for a society because they're always popping up. So as Paddy mentioned, just Google your local parish and something might come up. So to summarise, can you get an official golf handicap? There are 2 ways of getting it. Yes, you can if you are a member of a golf club. So you can join the club, register with Golf Ireland and submit your 54 holes under the World Handicap System. If you're not a club member, you can get your handicap via joining iGolf. You can pay a smaller annual subscription than you would of being a member of a golf club. Same again, you have to submit your 54 holes with an official Golf Ireland member, and then you maintain your handicap via the app everywhere you go. Can you get a handicap if you are a member of a golf society? Technically, no, if you want to compete in open competitions or any competitions in clubs. But if you just want to get a handicap to play in the society and it's fair scoring for your friends and teammates, you can do that.
Ruth has a question as well about updating your handicap. Is it like an honour system? The short answer is yes, it's an honour system, but there's checks and safeguards under the World Handicap System used by Golf Ireland. So how it works, you are responsible for submitting your scores. And I think we can all need a refresher here in that if you're on your app, before you go to the first tee, you input, I am at Naas Golf Club or the Hinge Club or wherever you are, and I'm playing off these tees, and I want to submit a score today. And then you play your round of golf. So it must be on a rated course, yeah, a Golf Ireland affiliated golf club course. I played under acceptable conditions, so generally, if there's placing on the fairways or stuff like that, you can't submit a score. So checking the pro shop beforehand and has to be verified by a marker. The safeguards. So the safeguards is this is where it's not just like blind trusts, because Ruth mentioned that in her email. Committees can apply adjustments if a handicap doesn't reflect ability. So I think there's a lot of committees can have a look at that. Optional scores trigger automatic reductions. Competition scores are automatically included. Consistent failure to return scores can lead to penalties. So it is all built on honesty, but it's monitored, especially if you're a member of a golf club at club level. Oh, yeah, that's how you go about it. So maybe there's some learnings there for us golfers of 28 plus years, that actually your local club handicap secretary and committee have a lot of, I suppose, admin duties in terms of keeping everybody honest, in terms, especially that one there about exceptional scores. That might trigger some DMs, I would imagine.
And isn't there one more nuance to that, where you have to submit your score within 5 kilometers or 3 kilometers of the golf club? I can't
100%,
remember.
yeah. So if you start your Golf Ireland app, like I said before, you tee it up on the first tee, just remember, close it off before you leave the car park, because if you live a couple of kilometers away, it actually won't let you, which is like a fail safe in people going, oh yeah, I'll shoot 72 here today. So yeah, it kind of avoids that. But yeah, what about if Ruth looking to book a tee time, Eimear?
Yeah, I thought this was a really, really good question. So Ruth
Really
has
good
asked
question.
us, if I book a tee time alone and others are booked, do I have to play with them? And the answer is, in most golf clubs globally, the answer is yes. That is very, very normal. And so what usually happens, if you book a single slot, the club most likely will pair you with other singles or with a 2 or a 3 ball. The reason being is because it helps with course management and pace of play. And it's fair for the members, it's fair for everybody as well. Look, if you're a beginner as well, sometimes confidence is a slight issue here for people, and we totally understand that. So look, you're not obliged to chat to people, but basic etiquette applies. You might be paired with other beginners, you're on the same boat. It's an amazing way to meet people. I know it might be daunting and intimidating, but the reality is that when people are playing golf, nobody cares about any of the other golfers they're playing with. They just care about their own game. That is the most...
Golfers are quite self-centered people.
Yeah. Honestly, I've played with so many beginners, and they'll say to me, oh God, you must be so bored playing with me. And I'm going, I haven't even thought about any of your shots. I think it's just brilliant that you're here and I'm enjoying the chats. Yeah, so look, some clubs also do allow like a solo booking, but to be honest, the only way you'll get out on your own is if you go very, very early in the morning or you go quite late in the evening. You can always ring the pro shop and ask ahead and explain your situation as well and say, look, I've just joined the club. I'm a beginner. I just need some time on my own. And I do it a lot in my clubs. I book early morning tea times, or I go out really, really late just to practice. And funnily enough, speaking of Padraig Harrington, since we've launched this podcast, Paddy, I've gotten really into watching YouTube golf. Like
Careful now.
Now on my television, all I do is like have YouTube golf up as opposed to like Netflix or the news or whatever. So yesterday I watched Padraig Harrington and Dan Rapport from scratch play 9
the best
holes.
hour and 10 minutes you could watch. Yeah, it's the best video on YouTube this year, I'd say.
Yeah. So I was watching Padraig and Dan, and they played 9 holes and Dan was on the bag. And just to the point about beginner golf or golf going out on your own, Padraig Harrington said the best way to get better at golf is actually go out on your own, get a couple of lessons, a couple of tips, but then just play 3 or 4 balls. And I try to do that a lot, and I know you do that too. And it's an amazing way to improve your game. So Ruth, if you're looking to get better quicker, definitely start booking some rounds alone, maybe late in the afternoon, and just play 2 or 3 balls. But watch that YouTube video. It's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. If the link isn't too long, I'll put it in the show notes below. But I think everyone just Google, scratch golf or Padraig and Dan play golf. It's a class. It's a class video, because it was literally maybe 2 weeks before that came out. I was playing at home. I'm a pretty jovial person on the course. I'm loads of fun. I'm not too serious, as Eimear thought I would be, very serious on the golf course. But I was playing with, we're all pretty low handicaps anyway. And a good friend of mine, Noel Sexton, the GOAT, greatest of all time, or he's called the GOAT because he's exceptionally good caddy in Lynch, so he's up and down the dunes. I believe that's where it's from. Stop if I'm wrong. Stop me if I'm wrong, Noel. But I was like talking to the golf balls. Like first hole, Noel hit up and I was like, get in, get in, get in. And it misses back. And Noel just looks at me. And he's like, golf balls who were spoken to don't go in. I was like, all right. Just didn't pay any attention. I'm playing golf with Noel 28 plus years. And third hole, they get the same again. He was putting about 6 feet. I was like, go on, fall in. Misses. And she looks at me again. Do not talk to my golf ball. I was like, okay, no problem. And then I was like, very conscious of it all day. Do you know what I mean? Even like, didn't say a word, right? And then I watched a part of the counting video and I was like, he's dead right. So it gave me all the context I needed for that. So yeah, maybe if people want to send in their stories of talking to other people's golf balls or what it really feels like to have people talk to yours, because I don't really care about people talking to mine. But yeah, some people do have a bit of a complex about it, and I totally get it now. The last bit of Ruth's email is Ruth is a gym goer and is asking about any golf-specific exercises and stretches to help your games. Since Ruth already goes to the gym in a great position, golf fitness is about mobility, rotation, stability. It's not about brute strength, although I think it helps sometimes. It's certainly my excuse. Now, I'm not a certified fitness instructor. I'm not a TPI instructor. That's Titleist Performance Institute. However, I have been training for a long time, in between pizzas for a long time. My recommendations on golf fitness is go to see someone in person first. And golf fitness is very much like fitness for life anyway. There might be some compound movements in there, might be a bit of cardio. So like, I think the mobility helps massively. I'm 38. I eat pizza. I have kids, so being able to lift them up and throw them around is definitely helped me in that regard as well. So I'd say seek out a qualified trainer. So a couple of recommendations. I would recommend Robbie Cannon. He's the best in the business. Based up in Swords, I think, but you can reach, I'll put all these people's details in the show notes below. So Robbie Cannon, he's Shane Lowry's SNC, but not a lot of people know, like, Robbie will take care of everyone and anyone. There's Niels Conway in South Dublin. There's Andrew McCormack in Limerick, down in Padraig K's facility there. And there's a new place in Dunleary, just opened by Stephen Rice, called Studio 22. And it's kind of like my kind of place. There's a gym, there's a golf simulator, they do Pilates classes. That's like, a center, one place to go, one-stop shop for all things. So it seems like a mecca for golfers to be. What I'd recommend is, if you're from somewhere around the country, the best thing about Ireland is you're only a drive away from anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So if you are really serious about it, you've Andrew in Limerick, you've a few guys up in the east of Ireland. I'd say coordinate a visit, make it a day trip if you want. Get it screened, so they'll test your rotation and maybe a bit of strength and power, or how high you can jump. Robbie Cannon loads jumps, and you'll get your program. So you'll get your program for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is, whatever you need to work on. And then after that program is over, like 6 to 8 weeks maybe, go back and retest and keep your program on point. And to be honest, that's a bit where I fall down on, is I get my program and then I no, I don't go and do the retest. So that's something I determined to follow through on in 2026. So Ruth, thank you very much for your incredibly valid and important questions. I showed your email to my wife. I hope you don't mind. And she was like, they are all questions I would have. So fair play. Thanks for getting in touch.
Definitely is amazing. And like, to your point on the PTs, they're all awesome. And I do a lot of strength and conditioning, and it just helps your game so much, your mobility, your flexibility, absolutely everything. So highly recommend those guys. Studio 22 looks amazing. So I'm looking forward to checking that out, Paddy. That's nice. Okay, let's move on to one of my favorite segments of the week. I think it's becoming all of our favorite segments of the week. Underrated golf course. So, Paddy, let's cut to the chase. What is your underrated golf course in Ireland this week?
For me, having been lucky enough to play it, it's Castleknock Golf Club. That's located up on the Causeway Coast in Northern Ireland. It's about 15 kilometres west of Coleraine and 45 kilometres from Belfast. So if you are visiting the country, it's a nice one to maybe slot into your Northwest of Ireland trip. Sits on classic linked land with sweeping views of the Atlantic Ocean. If you haven't played Castleknock yet, you're missing out. It's right in the Causeway Coast with breathtaking Atlantic views. And the course itself really tests your shot making. I consider myself a bit of a ball striker, so I love picking my way around a golf course. So I really loved it. Undulating fairways, the clever holes. There's a beautiful, I think it's the third hole or fourth hole. And like there's train tracks down the right. but trains beef isn't by. It's classic links golf at its best. And the best part about it, you get all of that without maybe the clamour and the crowds of a Portrush or Port Stewart. After you're around, though, you know me, I like a bit of culture. You can take in the history and scenery at the Mussenden Temple and the downhill domain. It's golf and with a side of culture. So honestly, it's a proper hidden gem, which is a term I hate. We've got to find a new term. But it's a proper hidden gem for every golfer that they should experience, yeah.
Amazing. I haven't played it, but I have heard great things about Castle Rock. So definitely on the 2026 golf list.
Quality golf course under €50 this week, Eimear. What's yours?
Mahony's Point in Killarney. So a couple of months ago, I went down to Killarney, and normally I've played Killeen maybe 4 or 5 times. Gorgeous golf course, really, really nice. It's at the Killarney Golf and Fishing Club. But there's a second course at the Killarney Golf and Fishing Club, and that is Mahony's Point. And I really think it's like one of the best kept secrets in Ireland. They do a really, really good winter deal on Golf Ireland where you can play it like midweek Sunday. I actually think it's Monday to Thursday. For €50. So really, really good value and definitely worth the visit. So just a bit of background on it. It's set on the edge of Lough Lan, and the McGillycuddy Reeks, that beautiful mountain range, are a backdrop. And so on a clear day, it is honestly one of the most beautiful places in Ireland. The course is really, really fair. It's enjoyable. It's quite playable. It's tree lined, but I would say the fairways are quite wide and forgiving. The bunkers are nice. There's a bit of water around it, but again, like nothing too hectic. But the closing holes when you're playing up against the water is absolutely stunning. So look, I really, really recommend it. The facilities, the restaurant, everything in Killarney, Mahony's Point is absolutely stunning. But up the road from Mahony's Point is, I think, one of the best towns in Ireland, Killarney. Killarney has the most amazing pub scene, culture scene, absolutely everything from J.M. Reedy's to O'Connor's. And you've obviously got the Killarney National Park, which is basically where the golf course is. Torque Waterfall, if you want a bit more history, Mucker's House. There's so much to do down there. And I know, like, it's great for tourism. It's great if you're doing a trip around Kerry, doing multiple golf courses. But a golf course, really good condition, really good value. Mahony's Point is my pick this week.
Savage cabbage. There was when anybody says down Killarney or in Killarney, when I was in college, there was like a viral video at the time on a thing called Bebo. Do you remember Bebo? Remember how to get your Bebo page? And there was a video of, like, an Irish leprechaun with potatoes, and the line was down Killarney way with your big sack of potatoes. So any time someone just says Killarney, that's what fizzes through Paddy's head. So yeah, I don't know if I clip that in, but if I can, I will. It's been a busy week, a fun week. We've had a highly engaging week. We look at the numbers. We don't care about the numbers, but it's good to see the numbers. In a week, there's a certain video. People love County Bell. 120 something million thousand views. So thanks everybody for sharing. We hope to keep things of value. So yeah, there's like 80% of people don't follow us, so hit that follow button. But yeah, we love the engagement. We love the correspondence. So you know where to reach us. You know where to reach us to keep chatting. Up and down of the week. It belongs on a mug and a t-shirt. Eimear McManus, what is your up and down of the week?
So my up from the week has to be Ruth's email, because we're finally
Absolutely.
getting some insight on what some of the listeners want from us. So that's certainly an up. And look, we're hoping to get many more emails about anything related to golf. So please do get in touch. And then my down of the week is that I just haven't practiced and I haven't played any golf because I've been at too many Christmas parties. At least I'm being honest. And I met my cousin last night and we had a chat, and he said, do you think you can shoot level par at Limerick Golf Club in 2026? Right now, I can't, but now I've set that as a goal and a target. So every couple of months, I'm going to check in. I hit it quite long for a female, I would say, and the course isn't long. It's off the ladies' tees. It's not too long. So if I can just sort out my 140 yards in, that's my big one. So that's my down. I did not practice as usual, but I will start. Paddy, what is your up and down of the week?
I was going to ask you what your swing speed was, because we said we'd ask you this week. So at the moment it's 0. At the moment it's 0, but I'll say, the second episode of 2026, we'll need a swing speed out of you, Mr. McManus. And by the way, you're getting 0 shots. If your goal is to shoot level par, when we play golf finally, you're getting no shots at all. 0. Zero
Well, that
chance.
might be level par after 9 months of playing golf 3 times a week. It's really difficult. My best round ever is 76. So like,
El
it's
Bandito. I know what to get you yourself in the blood for Christmas. I'm just going to get you like a El Bandito caricature, and you can stick it on your front door.
I could shoot 106 as well, though, Paddy. But look, that's a story for another day. Now, what is your up and down of the week?
Up and down of the week. The up of the week, both my girls took it upon themselves to start putting in the home office this week. So I was there with my phone going, I need to capture this. This is a memory. This is a core memory if you've watched Inside Out. But yeah, my heart absolutely melted. Absolutely melted. So kept it fun. Like 5 and a 2-year-old. So like Paige is 2. She was like putting the ball down for Sophie to hit, all the type of thing. So every putt got like a bazillion points. All the points. High fives and hugs. Just doing a great job no matter what happened, the actual ball, The fact that they spontaneously picked up a club, and then of course when one is doing it, the other one wants to take turns. So like a good 20-25 minutes. My wife is delighted. She was there to watch the most of the show inside. But yeah, that was a very heartwarming, wholesome moment here in the Lynch household. Well, for me. She doesn't really care. Well, I think she's looking forward to the day, maybe the year or a couple of years' time when like I just disappear with the 2 girls for 6 hours every Saturday and every Sunday. And I've told her, be prepared. Start a hobby. Can't be watching TV shows. Start a hobby, because in a couple of years' time they will not be here. They'll be out golfing with me. The down is I have not started to wrap a single present yet. I literally started before this podcast. I've about 5 presents wrapped, and it's such a first world problem to have. We're very lucky to be able to have presents in the first place. But yeah, I see a good playlist, maybe the Amble album live in Dublin, and hope to have most of that finished by the end of it. But yeah, thank you very much. A Merry Christmas to you and the beloved. Don't know, we'll be savage a couple Irish whiskies over the Christmas period, but yeah, very excited to keep pressing record on this together.
Me too. Many happy returns, and I'm really excited to see the Barbie house that Santa Claus is bringing for the girls. Will you clip it in?
I'll put it on the Scratch social story on late Christmas Day, maybe after a couple too many tealings. But yeah, as ever, everybody listen, thanks for pressing play. We're keeping a view of the numbers just to make sure we're doing the right things and saying, covering topics that people want to listen to. But yeah, share your hidden courses that you love. Share your golf rituals or quirks, what's in your bag that you think nobody else has. Don't say a chipper or iron head covers. Or any funny or unexpected golf stories. Let us know. podcast@scratchsocialhq.com, and you know where we live on socials.
You sure do. That is a wrap. And as always, any feedback, whatever it is.
Christmas. See what you did there.
Nice. Okay, well, that's it. Episode 6, done and dusted. Please send us messages and comments, and good or bad, we'll take it and we'll try and improve.
Take it easy. See you next week.
Cheerio.